It's top of the gimmicks. It's the second ever one. And look, there's 3 of us this time round. That means we get to debate shit more interestingly than me and Craig just absolutely agreeing or picking the same stuff. Check out episode 1 because we know Carson Bailey didn't. I'm Rob Campbell.
I am your bastard, Craig Challoner.
And I'm Daniel being shot on hard cornfield.
Deserved. Well deserved. Take your licks like a man and get on with it. What are we here to discuss today, you bastard?
Me bastard. Well, last time on Top of the Gimmicks, we did spin that wheel to see what would come up for today's episode. Unfortunately, somebody forgot to add the wheel to the last episode. Editor's getting fired. He's definitely not getting blown again. Fucking prick.
We're getting that Kevin Dunn lad in.
So
we're until we cover a WCW pay-per-view at least, anyway.
Fuck my life. But anyway, so we did spin that wheel, which is here. There we go. It's close enough. So there we go. Wheel span. And we are covering tag teams.
Ooh.
Top 5 tag teams. Tag teams can also include triples, quads, whatever. But you narrow it down to the favourite 2 within that team. So Freebird rules. Pick your 2. So there we go.
Right.
Okie dokie then.
As last time, Mr. Robert kicked off here, and Don's new today because he was in a hole last time. You can start today, Don. You're going to start with the 5. And we're going to run down to 1.
So, do you go 5 to 1 or?
No, let's give us your 5, and we'll
just
go
give me
from
5
there.
in any order.
No,
okay.
you
number
dickhead.
5. Give me your number 5.
Okay.
Number 5 and number 5 only.
Booker T, that shit.
Okay. For me, number 5 is FTR. The revival, FTR nowadays. Fuck, I love a good throwback gimmick. And they are amazing wrestlers singly. Dax Wheeler and Wheeler and fuck.
Wheeler and Cash.
Really?
Yeah, Wheeler and Cash. There's me fucking.
I don't like modern wrestling. Hi.
But honestly, like any time them 2 lads are in the ring, they are magic. In my eyes, they are absolutely magic. But that's my opinion. Obviously, you 2 boys are probably here to shit on it. But
no,
not at all. Go on, Craig.
No, I was going to say I'm not going to shit on FTR at all. They're amazing. They're absolute quality.
I think it's a great standout choice for someone, that realistically have had to go away that did really well in NXT.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, top of the game there. Like, without a doubt, some of the best tag team matches you'll ever see from that tag team in that company. But moving up from the, developmental division, if you will, to the main roster, they had some good matches. They just weren't allowed to thrive. It's as simple as that. Same with what we see now with War Raiders, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'm not going to bore everybody with that list. But they've gone to AEW and they've done some really cool things. And they're obviously not just exclusive to AEW, but that's the mainstream wrestling that people will recognise them from now as FTR. So that's a really good show.
Also, the fact is the heat they can get as heels. Like, they got multi-promotional heat.
Yeah.
FTR means fuck the revival.
Yeah.
And then they went, fuck you, we're actually keeping that name.
Absolutely.
So, and I love that, like, proper old school. Right,
they're genuine wrestling fans as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And
what's the match against them 2? When they had a match against each other.
Oh, in the tournament.
Shit, it's so
in art gimmick,
Yeah, so fucking good.
Okay.
Also, it's Brett and Owen. They just took parts, which I love that there's a little nod. So I was like, fuck yeah, but FTR's my number 5.
Cool. Right, so my number 5, it was hard as fuck. I'll tell the people I had a top 13 because I struggled with this, and my top 5 has changed 4 times today, and once while we was recording the last episode. So my number 5 is the Dudley Boys.
Wrong.
It's Dudley Boys. I don't think much needs to be said about the Dudleys. They're fucking iconic, amazing, love them, and tables.
Yeah. I mean, the most decorated tag team in wrestling history.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
they ever went to a company, they won titles.
What you
Simple
got,
as
Rob?
So I haven't got the Dudley Boys.
that. He's got some boys from Dudley though. That's how he's tweeted.
No, and obviously the variation of the Dudley Boys. We're going with Devon and Bubba, obviously.
Devon and Bubba,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's clarify that.
yeah, let's clarify.
Although, shout out to Spike. Shout out to Spike.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to
Definitely.
Spike. Look, I've got a mixture. I think I'm probably not going to have many surprises within this list of mine. I've gone old school for number 5, and that meant choosing out of certain tag teams. And my tag teams are mainly they're all going to be from the WWF, WWE. That's my specialty. That's what I've come to know and love. So I'm not going to step outside of that comfort zone. I put this list together right before we hit record. So the choices were out of a few teams for this one, but I've gone with how they were described as tag team specialists. I've gone with Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, the Rockers.
Solid
I
choice.
think when you talk about a tag team that brings nothing but energy and then can combine some tag team maneuvers and look like a solid tag team, the Rockers were the epitome of that. They were the blueprint before moving into where we are today. So the Rockers make the list.
Are they also one of the most underrated tag teams? Because
without a doubt,
no
they never
gold.
technically won the tag team championships, did
Although
they? Because
did, but then
they won but didn't.
Right,
So
there you go.
Yeah.
Stripped it from
I like
history. The
Yeah.
night that never was.
Yeah.
The Rockers.
do you want to?
yes.
My
Who
number
has
4,
what?
though, Craig,
That's it. There
is
you go.
the Dudley Boys.
I like it.
So they made my list too, just not as low, I guess, on my list to your list. But it could have been 4, it could have been 5. It's just where I put them on this particular list for the reasons that we've already talked about. So that's my number 4.
Good stuff. Done.
My number 4, going back to the WWF, I've got the Brainbusters. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, the Brainbusters. Fuck me, what a tag team. And I wish they could have done more. Like, because they were... You talk about two men who teamed together and, like, they made it an art form. They made it an art form. And that fucking spike pole driver finish. Brutal. Still to this day, it's a brutal move. And I fucking love the psychology of them two together. So, Brainbusters is my number 4.
Brainbush is a great pick. Brainbush is actually the one that changed on my list right before this. So
but
right
they're
before
like the honourable 6th.
they were my number 4.
Oh, okay.
But then I realised that I took off another team and I had to bring them back. So the Brainbusters got dropped because I had to.
But honourable mention to the Brainbusters.
Brainbusters, like absolutely amazing. I fuck it. They were brutal as well. And everything looked painful. So fucking good to watch them work. So my number 4 is the British Bulldogs.
Ooh.
These are the boys that took off the Brainbusters for me. I couldn't not have the Bulldogs on here. I grew up loving the Bulldogs. Everything about the Bulldogs. You've got that mix of power, speed, technique, their technical ability. Like everything about the Bulldogs was just so one directional. Though it was straightforward. We go, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. I'm coming for you, and I fucking loved them.
So this is the tag team with Dynamite Kid and David Boy Smith, not
Dynamite.
Matilda and thrown in there. Just clarify that.
She could sit in the background. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, good shout though. Good shout. Like.
So my number 3 is the Brainbusters.
Nice. I feel our list is going to be quite similar for some reason.
I purposely absolutely waited because the Brainbusters were a hot topic during round 4 there. So I just wanted to jump the gun and get in there for number 3 because, yeah, for the exact reasons that you've already talked about. You know me, I'm a massive fan of psychology when it comes to wrestling. This tag team knew how to cut people off. They knew how to put fucking baby faces over big and in a different way to play to the baby faces' strengths. And they also know how to finish matches too.
Yeah.
They didn't need much help in planning. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, fucking fantastic tag team. The Brainbusters are number 3 on my list.
Love it.
So I'm going to jump in now with my number 3, the Dudley Boys. Craig, on to you. Yeah, love the Dudley Boys. One thing no one could ever not give them credit for was how they could get heat from a crowd, especially their ECW run was where I first heard of them. Holy shit. If you ever want to watch it, it's called the Danbury Incident. It was at a pay-per-view, Living Dangerously 98, I believe. They get that crowd to like near riot. That's Bubba Ray. That was Bubba alone. But in the ring, they were fucking amazing. And like I said, they've won every title going. Number 3, the Dudley Boys.
Well, on about winning every title going. Number 3 for me, it's the Legion of Doom.
Good shout.
It's LOD, the LOD pop. Like they were not a team that you could go. They knew the psychology of a match to a degree when it comes to wrestling ability, but they knew what they were capable of. Yeah. And as far as their psychology with that, they knew they could go in there, beat the fuck, hammer it home, move on. And
they knew their strengths and they went, that's it.
They stuck with it. And to be fair to fucking Hawk, even though like later on in his career, which we've noticed a few times, he did have a tendency of falling off the top rope and sliding to the other side of the ring and landing on the mat. But other than that, Hawk was fucking in that ring when he wanted to be. It's fucking amazing. So number 3 for me is Legion of Doom.
Okay.
Who's going with number 2 then?
All right.
Oh yeah. Go on. I'll start on this one. So my number 2 is the Hart Foundation.
Nice.
The Hart Foundation. Brett and Anvil Hart Foundation. So the original Hart Foundation members, as the Hart Foundation apparently was originally Jim Neidhart and fucking microphone bollock. That was what the Hart Foundation was originally. Jimmy Hart. Like I don't get why that was the Hart Foundation initially, but yeah, that was a thing. Brett and fucking Anvil, everything about them as a team was great. Brett had everything for the speed and the technical ability. Yeah. Anvil was there for the pure power and pain, basically. Mm-hmm. And everything they did was brilliant. And I loved it. Yeah.
So I'm going to throw my number 2 in. So this one's going to seem a bit of an oddball, but I've gone with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, aka the Motor City Machine Guns. I have never.
You're a TNA fan. You love TNA.
I'm a TNA fan. I die hard TNA Impact, whatever you want to call it. They had a really good tag team scene, and they still do. Like if you keep up the Impact stuff, they still have a good tag team scene. Motor City Machine Guns to me are one of the smoothest and cleanest tag teams going. They just everything about them's good. Like I love the way they work, like their combinations as well. Like most teams can hit like a double team move. They'll hit 6 or 7 and it ramps up every time. And I love that. And I think their psychology is amazing. So for me, Motor City Machine Guns are my silver medal positions.
Nice. I've gone quite modern for number 2. Might be a bit of a surprise to some people, but okay. I'm gonna chuck it out there, so we'll see. I've actually gone with Jimmy and Jay. I've gone with the Usos as number 2, and the reason for that is because I think they're up until recently undervalued. They've been doing this a long time now, and I think people don't realise or remember that fact. Since day one-ish. And they haven't been great for all of those days and all of those years, but they've come into their own now, and they know exactly what they are, who they are, and what they can deliver in a match for the tag team championship. And we see that at all the big events. They had to wait so many years just for a fucking tag match at WrestleMania. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which is ridiculous. But right now, they are top of their game. And they're the current undisputed tag team champions of Raw and SmackDown. And they're number 2 on my list.
Well, I'm going to jump straight in here then. Because number 1 for me is the Usos.
Okay.
Wow.
This is where I had a big problem with my own list so many times because I was like, I can't put them top, but
you can.
I had to, and I will say that I have got a little hyphen next to this because the New Day. I think there is no Usos moments like this without the New Day. They've needed the New Day a lot, just like New Day have needed the Usos, but New Day get a shout out on this because without them, the Usos wouldn't have had that extra edge to push over. But everything they do is so good. I'm not just going to carry on copying what you just said. So, Don.
Well, hold on a minute.
Oh,
have you? This is number 1, right? This is number one, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you why.
I think mine's pretty obvious, to be honest. So
yeah, yours is probably pretty obvious, but I'm gonna follow on from where Craig was because he's absolutely right. There is no Usos without the New Day, and for that reason, that is why the New Day are my number 1. And I'm talking Big E and Kofi, because they're the team that won the tag team championships the most within those title reigns. And don't forget now, so this is the key reason that they are the number 1. They are the longest reigning tag team champions in terms of days, cumulative days within the history of the WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it, that beating Demolition's record from all the way back in the day. So for that reason, again, it might be a bit of a surprise that I've gone with a relatively modern team, but the New Day are my number 1 tag team for that reason.
Solid pick. Yeah. Also, both former world champions as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've gone with that. Which, to be honest, I'd like to see Xavier win it once. Just say
I love Woods. I love Woods.
His charisma.
Again,
that's a guy I've seen since TNA when he was Consequences Creed.
Not as much as Brad, but yeah, I like him.
So I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Number 1 for me, LOD.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
LOD. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I didn't see that coming.
I know.
Didn't. That's why we left you till last.
Yeah. LOD for me was probably one of my first memories of wrestling outright. Remember seeing 2 big tough guys with paint on the face, both screaming down the camera with these odd words like, what the fuck are you on about? And then like that to me got me, and then watching him in the ring just like fucking ball those people. Like apparently I've met them once. I don't believe I ever did. There's a story that my parents have told me that we went to Blackpool once and they were wrestling, and I don't believe it was LOD. I think it was sort of here's the real brand, here's great value. I think I've seen great value LOD, but brilliant. I love LOD, and to be honest, like they're to me like another team who, if they went somewhere, they won belts. They always did, and that can never be denied. Also, there's a pop named after them, which goes beyond, like, if someone's over as fuck, you get a Road Warriors pop, you get an LOD pop. That's right. That to me is like bigger badge of honor than anything. So LOD is my number 1.
So some solid tag teams, that's for sure. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What were your top 5? Leave them in the comments. Write into us. Tell us all of the gimmicks, top of the gimmicks, in fact. But Craig, are we going to find out what we're doing next?
We are going to spin that wheel and find out what's next. So, Don, do you want to give it a spin?
Left or right, your choice.
Go for it.
Okay.
There we go. So we have spun that wheel and we have landed on WrestleMania.
Ooh. Wow.
This one's going to be fun.
This one is going to be fun.
This one's going to be fun. I think everyone can pretty much, anyone who's followed the show can pretty much narrow down our top three.
Yeah.
I think that's a given.
Hmm.
But
whoa. WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
We'll see you on the non-exclusive Jimmy Savile top of the gimmicks next week for our top 5. I've been Rob Campbell.
And I have been your bastard, Craig Challoner.
And I'm Daniel. I've got all the sources. Cornfield.